Hi, I'm Andrea Weaver, and this is my Brave. A new city, a new school, and yet another new psychiatrist office. This office gave me an incredibly clear picture of how society views mental health. You see, it was the only section of the health center that had its waiting room behind closed doors and blinds with no label on the door that you enter. Just a number that you're given when you check in so that you know where to go. It's nice enough. I sit in a quaint waiting room with 2 couches and just enough space for a path into each of the 2 offices. A door opens and a doctor welcomes me into an office just big enough for 2 chairs, a desk, and a small bookshelf. We'd met once before and she seemed nice enough. Honestly though, at this point, it didn't matter because I was 2 months into my master's in counseling program and she was free. And y'all know what that means. She was for me. I'd been treated for depression for 4 years, and so far, nothing had worked. I'd soon find out why. So, since we're thinking bipolar, she says, suddenly, it felt like all the air left the room, and my head was spinning so fast that I didn't know which way was up. Don't ask me what she said next because I was too busy waiting for her to breathe long enough so that I could provide her with the one response I could think long enough to formulate. I don't know what you're thinking, but we're not thinking anything. My symptoms hadn't come out of the blue, and this wasn't the first time I'd heard that diagnosis. It was 2 years earlier when I'd gotten the same diagnosis, however. After a horrible reaction to the first medication attempt, my doctors decided that maybe they were wrong. Spoiler alert, they weren't. It wasn't exactly the answer I was looking for, but it was an answer. And at first, I thought this answer would be my miracle. But I would spend countless months pushing through my program as we tested medication after medication. It's kind of hard listening to a lecture while you're seeing double, and sitting still felt more like an Olympic event once internal restlessness kicked in. I struggled through classes feeling as though I was wearing a mask while professors taught us about the very thing I was living every day. I spent appointment after appointment advocating for myself with doctors who continued to insist that they knew what was best for me, which eventually led to my hospitalization. I started to think, who wants help with their mental health from someone who can't even handle their own? What client is going to trust me now? I couldn't help but wonder if my diagnosis might mean the end of my dream. Despite all these struggles, I had professors and friends who supported me every step of the way. Professors let me take breaks when topics were triggering for me and processed with me so that I wouldn't miss too much material. After my hospitalization, they helped me get the incomplete I needed so that I could make sure to earn all the credits I'd attempted that semester. Friends were there to walk with me through each twist and turn, never treating me any differently than the woman they'd always known. And on top of all of that, I finally found the doctor I'd been hoping for. She listens to me and collaborates with me on my treatment. With the right med combo and all of this support behind me, recovery became a reality. My journey has brought many complications along the way, but I'm slowly learning to look at it for all the things that it brings. Because my journey brings understanding. I understand the strength it takes to try treatment after treatment, knowing that there are never any guarantees. To keep pushing, even though this treatment isn't my answer. My journey brings compassion, because I felt the pain, and I know what it's like to want to give up. To feel like the journey will never end. But most importantly, my journey brings hope. Because I've walked the path of hopelessness, but I stand before you now, a month and 12 days shy of achieving my dream to become a counselor. But who's counting, y'all? And achieving my dream means that so many others who struggle will have someone to walk alongside of them as they strive to reach their own. I now know that there's so much more than light at the end of the recovery tunnel. There's life. I'm proof that a diagnosis does not mean the end of a dream.